So I'm just going to do some quick analysis on the 15-minute chart for gold, just for today's price action events. We've also got Canadian and US news, high impact, so we need to be cautious of that. So I'm just going to start with some basic fundamentals. I'm just going to look at this as if I was a new trader and I'm just using price fundamentals to sort of gain a overall bias idea of what's happening with price today and what the possibilities of price action could be. So first I'm just going to go through and I'm going to identify the overall trends and the support and resistance levels, just so that I can sort of gain more of a idea when price hits that level, whether it's going to retest or whether it's going to push through, whether it's got more of a chance to push through because it's recently done so, or whether it's retested off of that price point multiple times. So now I'm examining it and saying, right, okay, price has touched this the last 6 times, it's failed to break through every single time. Now it's touching again, it's got this much increased probability that it is going to retest compared to the other one, and then if it does, I know that it's confirmed that price is going to pivot. So say for example here, price has come below finally, and it's now acted as a resistance instead of support. It retested and came down. So that looks to me like price is holding there, and we need price to break above this level to then, as some would say, cause the change of character. So I can see here we do also have a bearish trend in the making as well, a bit of a crossover. So I'm just going to go through. I'm not going to be super accurate with it. I'm just going to say I'm going to go through and I'll label it as well. So we can see there, that's the 15-minute bear trend that we've currently got, which is acting as support and resistance as well. We did have this bullish trend here. I'm going to put it as a previous. And again, put it in the middle. So we can see that this was a bull trend, but then we broke out last night around the evening open for gold. You can see here we've retested multiple times off the bottom side, retested off the top side multiple times, bit of a crossover from bull to bear, and again from bear to bull we could go from here and say this could be perhaps the support of another bearish zone. So I'm going to say doesn't look like it's per se got a top side at the minute. It looks like it's more, let's say, support than a trend. Then we also have this here in the center, which you can see here. It's had one. I'll use circles, or should we use arrows? Maybe arrows would be better, just so that we don't cover up the thing. So I'll try arrow markup. Got one there. Various here, but then we did break through. So price actually came down, retested, came up, and then pushed through. More than likely a probable news event. And then again we've come up. We sort of push straight through. What I'm actually going to do though is just extend this so that this is almost like a zone from candle. So now we can see here that this is sort of like a support range bound zone and resistance for some. So we're going to put that as a 15M key SNR because it is both support and resistance. Have it inside, and then we'll put it on the right so we can see it. There we go. So then we can see here again, after price fell through, it's come back up and also acted as a resistance this time. I'm just going to put this there, and then I don't know why it doesn't just let you rotate it. How annoying. So we're going to class this one as well. These pretty much all of this basically. I know it's not on the exact line, but it's still sort of the same zone area. And then again with a current one here, I don't know why. We come back up, we've just retested there and failed to break back through. You can see here we pushed through here. It wasn't there per se, it was more here, and price pushed back through. It then did come back down, retested, so price was resistance, it pushed through, came back down, price was then support, it came back up, pushed up, came down, price was then support, which acted as some bullish momentum. We can see here again, price also broke through here. Okay, so if I pull this out, there we go, and then I'm going to use some horizontal lines just to see some more key support and resistance levels. So I can say, so we've got a lot of happening with price here. You can see there, we've got retest here, retest here, retest here. Price looked to tease a little bit here, and then also previously you can see multiple retests there. So I'm going to mark that as a 15 minute S and R, I believe. Is it? Let's confirm. So here it's resistance, here it's support, here it's support, here it's a bit of a tease for support. So I'm going to say both support and resistance, and make it a bit bold so we can see it. I go, and then I wonder if we can get any more. Perhaps I would say that's more of a key zone there, and then so all I'm doing right now, like I said at the beginning of the video, is I'm just going through, and I've identified key trends and key support and resistance levels just using price action. So now I can say I've had a quick look, and I can now say that we are in a 15 minute, I keep saying 15 minute bear trend, which you can see here. We've tested the bottom side, we tested the top side, retested the bottom side. However, the bottom side that we have just retested off is also a 15 minute probable support line. If it does break through this line here, we can then see this bottom side of the bear trend here. And then again, with these, each line and each trend that I've drawn is a key psychological pivot area. So what I mean by that is price has previously hit this level, whether it's a flat support and resistance or whether it's a bull or bear trend. Price has previously hit this level, and then it's retested, pivoted, and had like a change of character and gone back the other way. So you can see here, price touched it and then come back up. Price touched it up here and then come back up. So now what I've done for myself is, without using technicals or any indicators, just purely price action from the chart, now I can say, right, okay, even though we are in this bear trend here, price has hit this support level, so it is likely to come back up. However, it's not yet broke above this 1992 key support and resistance level. If it was to break above this level, then it was more likely that price is now going to crawl up to this 2002 level to touch the top of this here. And if price was to then break above this line, it's more likely to go up to this support and resistance. Obviously, I know there's a lot more that influence the charts, and there's a lot of daily high impact news releases. Like today we've got US PMI, we've got high impact card. However, just purely off fundamental price action, I now have more of a better idea of what's going on the chart, what sort of trade opportunity I might take, and what would happen actually if I did place a trade, say for example, and it went against me. So like, say for example, just using the knowledge that I've gained here and sort of the analysis I've conducted, I'm going to say, right, even since we're on this support here, I'm going to enter a long position. Okay, this is going to be my first take profit because we failed to break through there, and I'm going to use just below this line here as my stop loss because we haven't broke through the bottom of the line yet. We haven't broke through the top of the line. Or I would make it perhaps maybe a little long and say, right, okay, we've now touched the bottom of this trend. It's more than likely that we're going to come up and reach the top of this trend. So I'm going to set my take profit as the top of the trend level. And again, I'm going to set my take profit just below where we wouldn't have reached before. So for example, we haven't poked necessarily below this line yet. And if we do, that could then be the new resistance instead of support. So I'm going to say perhaps I'm going to have a 3-to-1 risk ratio and put my stop loss around 1981 with a take profit on, let's say, 2002. Okay, so let's say I've just entered the long position and then it starts going against me and it actually comes down to this line here, which I'll identify with a circle. So if price came to this level here, I would be in minus. So then what I would do, instead of being like, oh no, what if my trade's wrong? What if my analysis is wrong? Such a plonker. I can now be like, right, well, actually, I've identified here that there's a 15-minute support. And if price does hold here and retest, it's more likely that it's going to come back up and my trade's still going to be okay and it's going to be valid. However, if price was to fall below this line here, like say for example if I use a ghost pattern to pinpoint it out, so if price comes down here and then comes back up and is like, oh no, I can't quite push through, that's now my new resistance, we could then see price come down to this line here, which would be the more probable answer. So then I know if price, oh my god, how many patterns am I posting? I'm just going to delete that. So now I know if price does fall below this support line here, that it's more likely if it doesn't push straight back through, it's going to come down to this line here. So then I would either adjust my stop loss like this and bring it just below the line. So then hopefully this line, as it has since the, say, 4:30 on the 19th of April, has acted as a support. Hopefully it will then act as another support, my trade will still be safe and it'll come back up, and then what you would even see is on another ghost pattern it come down, say for example it tries to push back through but it fails, comes down to this line, and then you would see it come back up, and again it has to push back through this line to then come back up, otherwise you could then see like that instead of it coming up and out. So it's not about me knowing the exact way that the price action is going to go. It's not about me being accurately predicting the future of the trade. It is literally just about me increasing my probability on each trade and having more confidence and knowing what's going on. That's it. That's all I've done. I've not used any outside technicals, indicators, strategies. I've literally just used my own eyes and what I can see in front of me. And like I said before, obviously in half an hour, an hour's time, when the CAD news comes on, even though price may be currently respecting these levels, it's not going to respect those levels during a high impact news release. It'll fly and break straight through them. Okay, so even though I can sort of not rely, but even though these fundamental price actions are a lot more reliable, accurate during non-volatile and news event days, I still can't 100% rely on them, because if I was to 100% rely on them, my trades would not be profitable, and the reason would be because I'm not taking into consideration these outside factors. But say for example if I was trading in the morning for gold, say between the hours of, I don't know, 6 and 10 a.m. or something, before GBP markets and US markets open for influence, it's going to be a lot of fundamental price action, which is where all these psychological levels get created. So you can see here price did come down, it touched this line here where my circle is, and it's now come back up, and it's at 1987, and again it's still struggling to push through this. So I can imagine for the CAD news, which is in an hour, that's going to be the deciding factor of whether price is actually going to be able to break up and through this SNR or down below it. So yeah, that's just a quick price action fundamental lesson. You can use this on pretty much any currency pair. Obviously, the more that you use it, the better at it you're going to become, and eventually you'll be able to just load up a quick chart screen and say, right, okay, this is there, and that's there. Obviously, this is quite a basic fundamental version, but it's pretty much everything you need to know just for those simple price action techniques for support and resistance and trend zones. You could even then go as far as adding in supply, demand, and order blocks just to then increase your probability on your trades. One thing you will see in my one-to-one coaching or VIP group, what I take pride in and focus on teaching, is that not one strategy is ever 100% accurate or correct. It's always a list of things that is best to have, where you say, right, okay, this is ticked off, this says this points to this, so 78% of my list is all pointing to a buy signal. Do you get what I mean? So, like, the main differentiator between this and gambling, obviously the odds are always in the house's favour for the most part, whereas this, you can increase your odds and increase your probability of making a profit by doing that research, by doing that due diligence, by doing that analysis, and just basically ticking off a list of variables, because if all signs point to Lauderdale, often the path ends up at Lauderdale. So yeah, I'm not going to ramble on for too much. I hope to see some of you guys putting this into practice and seeing your analysis, and I'll make sure to post another educational video over the next few days on the next topic.